Hello, colleagues who have joined us recently, and thank you all who have been staying with us from the previous talk. We are continuing with AI on the panel discussion, AI journey in mobile world. And let me present our experts today. It's Alexander Denisov, Germany, Flutter GD from Berlin, and chief engineer and head of Flutter at EPAM. Yeah,
Hello, hello.
yeah, we've seen him at the start of this conference. Michał Szczepanik teleported from the previous talk to this one. Poland, Wrocław, our Android expert and solution architect. And Danis Tazidinov, San Jose, California, Apple competency lead and associate principal software engineer. Oh, yeah, I pronounce it. Before
A lot of titles.
Yeah, a lot of titles. Before we start, let me mention again that we have 30 minutes for this talk, but we are glad to see questions from you. Don't hesitate to ask anything related to AI and mobile. We have experts from different disciplines, iOS, Android, Flutter. We can ask anything you want, need. And don't forget that at the end of this talk, not this talk, at the end of this day, we have a quiz with a special prize for winners. It's Udemy course for everyone. And this quiz will be dedicated to topics that speaker presented. Yes, stay with us. So, guys, how we build our discussion, I have a few questions about this topic, and I will ask you to share your ideas about it. But before we start, my little questions from me. What's the recent or latest thing you generated via ChatGPT for yourself?
It's a good question. Sometimes I've used too much.
The presentation which you have seen before.
Yeah.
Description for this panel discussion.
Danis, what about you? Do you use
these
ChatGPT?
people simply don't want to do anything. They all rely on some kind of text generation tool. No, I was actually playing with that in the code sense. I was trying to see if it can generate the code for some of the things which I do, and I was looking for more efficient way of doing things, and unfortunately, no, it's still.
Sorry, Danis, could you check your voice? You have a little issues. Yeah, could you check your settings? Okay, guys, while Danis is checking, let's begin with our discussion. And the first topic that I would like. Yeah, we hear you well, Danis. Good. Now it's better. So, what do you think, guys, about current AI hype?
So, who will be first?
So yeah, let me be
first.
So I mean, I was not able to answer the previous question, so let me be first here. I probably will be like somebody who will be discouraging all the things about this AI stuff. So I was trying to say to most of the people, like, if we talk about ChatGPT and all other language models, it's not actually AI. I mean, it's not intelligence yet, I think. So we need to understand that this is basically a tool which generates something which you ask it to generate. And it does it so well, so people even think that it actually has some kind of intelligence. But overall, it's a great tool and it probably can do a lot of great stuff. However, I don't want to overestimate the capability of this tool right now. I mean, it's still a tool which you can use, to create an agenda for your talk, or maybe create some code for your projects. But it's still a tool which can work good or work better. And I think we need to just find the proper ways of using this tool. That's my view on the hype.
Sasha?
Yeah, I heard the story when one guy, I don't remember the country, but trained the generative AI network for himself and then fell in love. Yeah, it's about like proper way how to use the tool. So yeah, absolutely agree. Sometimes hype is too much, yeah. But still, that it's very useful tool. Yeah, I use it regularly, and I think started to save much more time than before for some task that I spent much more time before. And yeah, but when you find this kind of task that you can ask for help, ChatGPT or Bart or whatever, yeah, it's nice, and you will use this tool for such kind of tasks every time and save you time. Yeah, it's good, but of course, it's not generative AI, yeah. And don't expect magic from them.
Yeah, for me, it's, let's say, more the biggest problem of this hype is that a lot of people trust too much in these AI things, and even if we take a look at press or any portals, we can find like articles. We ask AI about, I don't know, Bitcoin, whatever. Come on, it's some random answer which someone can use to make, I don't know, invest decisions or whatever. I think even the authors of the AI don't understand exactly how some parts of it works. So it's something which is, let's say, a little bit difficult to predict how it answers. As I mentioned on the previous presentation, sometimes we can get totally different answer for the same prompt. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes who knows. In one answer, then it can be a ballet dancer. In other case, I don't know. iOS developer. I don't know which is true.
For check it, just ask any AI tool about yourself. Tell me about like your name, and try it few times, and every time you will get absolutely different result, and you probably will know something interesting about your past.
Okay, guys, what about affecting your work? How AI impacted on your working routine? Do you rely on AI tools? Which one? Yeah, could you expand on that, please?
I can probably start again, but I would say that it might not be impacting me personally yet that much. However, I see that some time ago we had this portal called Stack Overflow. I mean, it's still there, but I mean, a lot of people were using it, like
Not for long.
searching, copy paste, and like you had a solution, right? That was the approach. Now it's the same thing, but you just type your question to the ChatGPT, Bard, whatever, like any platform. And again, you're not thinking, you're just taking the code and hope it will run.
Come on, do you see the difference between the Stack Overflow and the AI? In Stack Overflow, you usually copy paste the code from the question, not from the answer. I don't know why.
In Stack Overflow, we have rating of answers.
Yes, not just rating. In Stack Overflow, you can have comments. There is a thing that there are comments, and you potentially might understand what it's all about. And in case of ChatGPT, you have answer, which is provided to you as definite answer, fully correct, and you it should just work. And in most cases, it just doesn't. Like you see the code which you can put somewhere and see that the methods which you were given do not exist. The objects like have totally different properties, and so on and so on. So what I would say that to me, these GPT tools and language models are mostly used for their initial purpose. It's as the text generation tool. So when I need to expand on something, I use that. However, the more I use it, the more I can probably see that it was generated. So sometimes I see messages like in emails or something like, okay, I'm pretty much sure this was generated by ChatGPT. Like there is no doubt that the person who was sending this to me was, I don't know, lazy, or not lazy, but was just decided to use ChatGPT in order to send something for me. So this is now becomes more and more visible unless person uses some like post processing on the results of that. So I would say that in case of code generation and everything, it's good. However, there are other tools to speed up the code generation in Apple development world. So we're probably not yet on seeing that as tool which will change your world. You can do a lot of that. For example, the unit tests. That's something like at least you can start with something with ChatGPT, and I'm like exploring that particular things, and that saves your time. But however, if you look to the overall project, it's not that unit tests take too much of your project time, right? You still can save a little bit, but it's not changing your time as, I don't know, like half of the time.
I can disagree with you in case of unit test. It depends on project, because if
Definitely,
you just create your project and develop it step by step and create unit test step by step, yes, you're completely right. But for example, you just joined the project and project has no unit test at all, and you don't know what happens in the code because it's like not very good quality, but you need your first like cover this code by unit test. And you just send class to just AI generator, and you won't get unit test, but you will get template with probably almost all proposed test cases. You will need just to check all of them, but yeah, templates that you will get from AI. Never believe that that you get it will work, but you can use that template with checking yourself every step, and not to spend time to just typing a lot of letters to prepare the template yourself.
Yeah, good,
and
good
the same
if you
about
get
emails.
the code which is not compiling. But as I show in my presentation, the generation of the GIF, it has at least 5 or even 7 iterations to generate the Python code which will do this, and will generate the GIF based on the image. And still it looks like it looks, but the first 3, I think, even not compile at all.
I don't expect that code will compile. I even don't try usually. And regarding template, I wanted to add about like Dennis mentioned that he see if like email generated by ChatGPT. Yeah, you can use ChatGPT for generate templates of your emails, and then fix it by your hand, and not to give Dennis opportunity to understand that you use it. But as a template generator, it works very fine.
So guys, I see you use a lot of tools. Maybe could you mention the most favorite, the most interesting for you? Let's begin with Danis.
Well, so let's just step back. If you look into like Apple development world, you do not have 2 Go tools yet. So like Apple did not release anything. We have a couple of third-party Xcode plugins who integrate with the Copilot on GitHub. So as of now, it's mostly like free for all. You can find anything there. I'm usually using the ChatGPT as the regular one, and I'm mostly exploring. I'm not relying on this as a tool which will create something relevant for me, because it's mostly we'll probably be talking about these hallucinations and how they affect everything. But as of now, I'm mostly looking into that. I'm curious to see what will be Copilot X and everything with the GitHub. So maybe that will be a little bit better. So I'm kind of expect that to happen. And we're playing with one of the internal tools. We were trying to use ChatGPT in order to make code reviews. So we basically passed that to ChatGPT, and it provided like recommendations on the code. And that was kind of an interesting thing, and we might stick with that. So it will be like something which gives you additional information on your pull request, and you will have some may be relevant, maybe not, but you will be able to look into that yourself. So these are the tools we are currently like looking as something promising.
Thank you, Sasha. Michal, what about
I
the most
used
interesting
to-
tools for you,
The most
for your
interesting
platform? How do
tools
you use
for
it?
me, for sure, the one from Facebook. Quite interesting because first time
Lemma,
I think
yeah.
the Meta focus on privacy of the data, and they provide the open source AI model, which is quite useful and can be good start because till that time, let's say we had ChatGPT, long time, nothing more, and some other tools. So everything what we can find on which is AI usually is ChatGPT based. Now we have something which allows us to create our own solution according to our needs with our level of privacy, which is also good. Of course, you need to buy the Azure instance or have good computers in your basements. But come on, it's an option.
And about me, I used to work with ChatGPT mostly before BART came to Europe. Yeah. Now I prefer use BART because BART at least have, in comparison with ChatGPT, has opportunity to work with internet. Yeah,
Well,
and
ChatGPT also
sometimes
has that.
ChatGPT. Yes, but not for free. And
Yes.
yeah, a lot of nuances. Yeah, if you just open chat OpenAI, you won't get this. And if you ask something, you can get answer on the situation in 2021. It was this, and I have no idea how it now. Bart never answer you such a way. Yeah, but of course, Bart is not ideal, yeah, and also has hallucination, different information, despite the fact that Bart has opportunity to work with web, with internet, but still. And I read, I forgot the name of author article that he compared a lot of results provided by ChatGPT and BART, and he decided that BART sometimes is better something creative, and ChatGPT is better. I mean, just standard without changing networks. Not with generating of code. That BART is not such good in code generation, but it's not mine decision. I never checked the same task with both of them. Yeah, probably I could check because with code I worked on with ChatGPT, not with BART. With BART, it's text generation or something like this.
Okay, let's discuss one more question related to our general topic related to AI. Fake news, fake information. Today, with help of AI, we can generate very realistic images, prepare text for that, and share everywhere. What do you think about it? How to prevent it? How to fight against it? What do you think, guys?
Right now, let's say it's quite easy to verify that something is fake, and still, let's say the images which are generated are not that ideal. But I cannot say how we will be able to avoid fake news, fake photos, etc. in, for example, a year or two from now, when everything, let's say, will be more advanced. It can be a challenge. Maybe of course, if it attacks some famous person, there is a lot of people who will verify it. But if you get a photo with a lady from the street, or your wife will get it, it can be a problem.
I suppose future official vendor will add kind of like watermark to understand what is it.
That was already,
yeah, it's
that
official,
was something
but
already happening. So I
if you are
believe Canon.
criminal,
No, I think Canon was trying to have the digital signatures to the images made by their cameras. It was a couple of years ago, before actually this whole thing started. But again, you're raising proper question. Let's imagine somebody took a picture of some famous person on the street with some other famous person who should not be close to each other, right? And how would you think that if that's fake or not? Like they deny this happening, but you see the picture. Like, was it generated or not? You might assume like, okay, we will try to find other sources, right? But you can have thousands of the same image generated with different angles, with different cameras, like simulate the camera style. And like now you see the 1,000 images and like probably that happened, but did it really? Who knows? I mean, so we will probably be living in a world where you actually need to be somewhere to like see that with your own eyes in order to be actually like, yeah, that probably happened or that probably did not happen. Because we will not be able to trust any words. We will not be able to trust any trusted sources on the internet because there will be no trusted sources by that time. And maybe we will just need to pay less attention to these things. That might also help. I mean, if you're just using something for like which relates to you, then and you spend your time like thinking about the things which actually relate to you and you can verify yourself, then that might be a good way to stop worrying about fakes on that.
Yeah, fakes it's very difficult how to prevent it in the future. So guys, let's proceed with more platform specific question. Maybe we have time only for one or two questions. What AI toolkits or libraries you find most effective for your platform and why?
Okay, I think I can probably start here. So for Apple platforms, actually, Hugging Face recently released some tools to run language models on the Mac and just Apple hardware and convert some of them into Core ML models. So we currently see that as these huge models are being shrinked into something which you can run on your Mac or probably on your iPhone, or maybe on your Vision Pro device soon. I mean, they still have pretty good chip there. So I think we might see that coming soon. But as of now, they're still like too big to be used locally, I think. Like at least for maybe a year or two. I think there will be definitely progress in terms of making these models more compact, more local, and in that case they might be, by the way, even more privacy friendly because you will be able to communicate with the model locally and it will not share your data with some big corporation using that data for something.
But you also raised one thing which is quite important. Yeah, the AI right now require a really good hardware, which for example in case of Apple, okay, they will release the new model, they control everything. But if we are, for example, talking about Google and Android, okay, maybe Pixel phones will get something, but what about the rest? So I think the biggest limitation to, let's say, have the AI in your pocket is the hardware nowadays, not the software.
For now, definitely.
Okay. TPU on device and so on.
But they all already have. I mean, like Apple chips already have the neural engine as a part of the CPU, so it speeds up some computational operations which are relevant for neural models. However, it's still like, yes, it's not just cheap, but you need significant amount of memory for language models to work. Like not just 1 gigabyte of memory, you need like terabytes of accessible memory in order to work fast. So that's probably the limitation. And therefore, I'm probably more looking into smaller, maybe less smart, but more focused models which
Dedicated.
will be working, for specific things like, I don't know, but you can run it on your phone. And that will probably be some kind of this AI adoption. Like there will be more and more cases using these LLM technologies in actual applications.
So,
and
guys,
the last thing, like
last
I'm Flutter
question.
developer, and everything that will work on for Apple ecosystem and everything that will work for Google ecosystem will be usable for Flutter developer because we
Flutter
have
as
no platform.
iOS.
We work for any platform.
Flutter as OS doesn't exist for now, but we'll see in the future.
Yet.
This fuchsia. Okay, guys, a short answer for very, very last question, and we will have a short break. AI in mobile apps in 5 years. How do you see this future, Denis?
Well, I think it will be a part of almost every experience there. In some cases, the generation thing. So we already had this Siri, we had this Google Assistants, Alexa, everything. So this will all evolve, and probably there will be more and more specific cases which will be targeted. So you will be able to generate your avatar. Well, you can do that already with the mobile apps, but there will be more and more things happening locally on the devices. And I hope, I really hope that all of these new tools and generated tools will be done with respect to user privacy. So this is my really big hope for that. And we will see these tools running locally. There will be no access to your communication with that model from the vendor of the platform. And we will see that as something which will be just a regular part of your daily activity. So you will not be, and by the way, like in 5 years, it might be totally different things. So we will be looking into
We
these
will not
language
have the
models as
mobile
something.
apps.
We will not
be looking
have
at
mobile
something
phones.
ancient. Exactly.
We won't need mobile phones because we will be cached in capsules and provide electricity for batteries for
It's
global
right about
energy
time.
transition.
Sounds like a plan. So, guys, let's finish our talk on this expectation of our future. Unfortunately, we have not much time for this very interesting topic. Maybe we will continue our discussion in the future, and we will
Separate
have
event.
AI podcast,
AI event,
something like
AI
this, and
podcast,
discuss all
something
topics
like
that we
this.
prepared. So, guys, thank you for this fruitful discussion. And after a short break, we will continue with another topic: neural network inferno, 9 circles of hell. So, guys, see you and have a
See
nice
you.
day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.